Okay, so now we will create our first VPC. So let's click the link here, your VPCs, and then create VPC. Let's name our VPC as training VPC, and then we have to provide the CIDR block that we are going to use. Remember, the maximum size of the block can be /16 and the minimum is /28. So we are going to use 10.0.0.0/16 here. We are not going to create IPv6 CIDR block now, and we are going to keep tenancy as default. If you select dedicated, instances launched in the VPC will be dedicated by default, regardless of what tenancy attribute you select during instance launch. However, if you select default, instances that are launched in the VPC will use the tenancy attribute that you specify during the launch. So we are going to keep tenancy as default, and let's create the VPC. Okay, so our VPC has been created. The CIDR block is 10.0.0.0/16 and tenancy is default, and it's saying not on default VPC. So let's see what has been created with this VPC. We have not created any subnet yet. If you look at route table, the default route table or the main route table has been created for the VPC. It is main route table, and it has the route for local traffic. It does not have any route for internet bound traffic. It has also created network access control list, which is the default network access control list here. And if you look here, right now it does not have any associated subnet because we do not have any subnet yet. If you look at inbound rules, it is allowing all traffic. If you look at outbound rules, it is also allowing all outbound traffic. Now let's take a look at security groups. It has also created a security group, which is the default security group for our VPC, and it allows all inbound traffic from the same security group here, and it allows outbound traffic to anywhere. Okay, so far so good. Let's go ahead and create some subnets. I prefer to have the availability zone name prefixed in the name. That's just me. I prefer it this way, but you can name it the way which is convenient to you. So let's name it US West 2A subnet 1. Then you have to select the VPC that we just created, and then we have to use a subnet which is within the range of our VPC CIDR block. So let's use 10.0.0.0/24, and let's create it. Okay, so this subnet has been created. Let's create another subnet. We want to make one of the subnet as public subnet and the other as a private subnet. So let's create the second subnet on a different availability zone. And then we have to select the VPC. And now let's try exact same CIDR block as we have already used on the other subnet, and let's see what is the error. You can see it says CIDR block overlaps with pre-existing CIDR block from subnet 1. So let's use this. Now you see both of our subnet has been created, one in US West 2A and the other at US West 2B. Now if you look at the route table, the following subnets have not been explicitly associated with any route tables and are therefore associated with the main route table. Now let's take a look at the network access control list. Both of the new subnets that we have created are associated with the default network access control list of our VPC. Now let's go ahead and create an internet gateway. Remember, we need an internet gateway to make an public subnet. So let's create an internet gateway. We'll name this as training internet gateway, and let's create the internet gateway. Now our new internet gateway has been created. As you can see here, this internet gateway is not attached to any VPC, so we must attach the internet gateway to a VPC. And here you can select the VPC that we just created and click attach. Now a VPC can have only one internet gateway, and one internet gateway can be associated or attached to one VPC at a point of time. So now you can see it, you have only option for detaching it. You cannot attach it to another VPC. The internet gateway is already attached to a VPC. Select an internet gateway. So you have to select an internet gateway that is in detached state to attach it to any VPC. Okay. Now if we go back to our route table, what we can do here, we can add a route here, which will be pointing to our internet gateway, and then all the subnets which are associated with this route table will become a public route table. We don't want to do it that way. That's how I prefer it, because this is the main route table, so any subnet is implicitly associated with this route table. So instead, what I want to do is I want to create a separate route table, and we'll name that as a public route table. So what will happen is the main route table will remain as is, and any new subnet will not have internet access by default. I do not prefer changing the rules main route table. So let's name it public route table for our VPC, then create route table. So now new route table has been created. It already has the local route. So what we are going to do is we are going to add another route, which is for all traffic, and we will point this traffic to our internet gateway. Now it does not have any subnet at this point of time. Let's select one subnet. So at this point of time, the public route table has one subnet is associated with it, and the other subnet is not associated explicitly with any other route table, and therefore associated with the main route table. So right now, subnet 1, if we go back here, so one of the subnet is having a route out to the outside through the internet gateway, whereas the other subnet does not have any route to internet. So this subnet here, the subnet 1, is a public subnet, and subnet 2 is a private subnet. So to test this in the next module, what we will do is we'll create instances on subnet 1 and subnet 2, and we'll see how instances on subnet 1 can access internet, whereas instances on subnet 2 won't be able to access internet.